Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I want to do a video about loving kindness meditation because I'm starting the new year with a consistency and focus on this specific type of meditation, and I wanted to share it with you because it is such a transforming practice. So loving kindness meditation is also known as Metta Bhavana, and Metta is the Pali word for loving kindness, which is the language that the ancient Buddhist texts were written in. And this is a form of Buddhist meditation, which we use a mantra to develop more compassion and loving kindness towards ourselves and others. So you don't have to be this is not a religious practice. You don't need to be any particular religion to do this. So I'm going to explain to you in this video, what are we talking about when we say loving kindness, how to perform this meditation, why to do this meditation, and then just kind of a blueprint for how you can practice it at home. So what does loving kindness mean? Because that's something that can mean a lot of things. In this particular sense, it comes from the Pali word metta, which can translate towards an unconditional friendliness towards oneself. So loving kindness is not the love in the romantic sense at all. Rather, it is the universal type of love. So it is not a conditional love, meaning you don't have to do anything or achieve anything. This is the love that you are already worthy of based on your just innate being and the soul that you possess. So some people would describe this as kind of like the unconditional love of God, or the love that we all share. It is a love that recognizes your inherent goodness and worth. And it's also a love that comes from recognizing that all beings everywhere are the same in this regard. We all want to be loved. We all feel joy, pain, and grief. And we all share in this human experience. So that's what we mean by loving kindness. So how does this loving kindness meditation work? Well, it's a mantra meditation. So mantra meditation means that you just use a particular phrase and you repeat it over and over again in your mind to solidify your intention. And so with loving kindness meditation, we use a mantra to wish loving kindness towards ourselves and then certain other people as we move through the meditation. So there's different versions of the loving kindness mantra, and I'll share with you the one that I love and use that I resonate with. So for me, my loving kindness mantra is, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I be loved. May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I be loved. So there's lots of versions of this. Some versions include phrases like, may I be at ease, may I be peaceful, may I be free of suffering. And so you can, if you'd like to do further research, and there's all sorts of cool combinations of phrases that get towards the very same intention. And I do encourage you to formulate one that really resonates with you. But for the purposes of this video, it's the one that I'll use. Why do we do this meditation? So the benefits of this meditation are some of the same as any meditation, right? So sleeping better, less stress, less anxiety. But this one in particular, it helps us to be more at ease, to be able to love more, and to be able to receive more love. Further, it helps us to judge less and to remember our sameness and to remember the humanity in all others. So this is a heart-opening journey of developing more compassion. So now that we know the what and the why, let's go a little bit further into the how. So when you take this seat to do this meditation, what you'll do is you will first use the mantra to wish loving kindness towards yourself. So, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I be loved. And you will repeat this mantra in your mind for however long you've decided, maybe like 5 minutes, okay? Um, this part is very interesting. It brings up a lot of emotions in the practice right off the bat, and that's because many times in our society we love ourselves last. And so when we're wishing ourselves loving kindness, it's not from a place of ego. It's rather to bridge that gap of usually we berate ourselves and belittle ourselves and judge ourselves very harshly. So this is actually a practice in breaking free of that judgment, giving yourself a break, and remembering your own inherent worth and your own beautiful being, right? So that's why starting with yourself is so important. The extent that we can show compassion to ourselves is the same extent that we're able to show compassion to others. And I think most of us can understand this as a universal truth. Because when we think about people who are so hard on others, I think if we really understand them at the end of the day, they really hate themselves. So this is a practice of us developing metta, loving kindness for ourselves. So that's the first phase. We start with ourselves. We repeat that mantra with the intention of loving kindness to ourselves for however long you've decided, 3 to 5 minutes, and then you move on to the next person. And so there's going to be 5 phases in total. So the second phase is we then use the mantra to wish loving kindness towards someone who we feel very positive about. So this could be a friend, a loved one, a teacher that you're most grateful towards. This is a person that is very easy to feel loving kindness toward. So for me, my niece is someone who comes to mind for me. She's a beautiful little toddler, and she's just full of joy, and she just has the brightest little soul. And so it's very easy for me to wish feelings of loving kindness for her, right? So as we move through this, also notice if it's so much easier to wish loving kindness towards someone else than it is to yourself. And that can be a place where spiritual work is needed. And so again, we use the mantra, may she be happy, may she be healthy, may she be safe, may she be loved. And we repeat this mantra, sending that good intention to that person for however long we've decided the interval to be, 3 to 5 minutes. Next, for the third phase, we move on to wishing loving kindness to someone who we are completely neutral about. In fact, it's someone that we hardly ever stop to consider. We have no positive or negative feelings towards them. So this could be someone who checks you out at the grocery store. Maybe someone you see on your commute on the bus or the train or in the carpool that you see, maybe you wave, whatever, but you don't know them, right? For me, it's a server at a restaurant that I go to, and even though I talk to him, exchange pleasantries, I don't know anything about him, and he's a pretty neutral personality guy, so I really don't feel one way or the other about him. And so that's kind of who I choose to use. And why would we do loving kindness towards someone who we don't even know? I think it's a couple reasons. Pema Children teaches, and Sharon Salzberg teaches, that it reminds us that we glaze over some people. We don't even stop to consider some people in our daily life, and we certainly don't have a connection. And it reminds us of kind of separatism. So doing this, we're able to fully acknowledge that they're a person just like we are and want all the same things that we need. So it helps us to bridge that gap of separateness. And also, another thing that this practice can reveal to us is, for many of us, it can be quite hard to think of someone that we feel completely neutral about. And that could be because we are so predisposed to make snap judgments about everyone and everything. And I think that's another kind of sickness in our society. And so if you're finding it really hard to think of someone that you don't have positive or negative feelings about, that can just show us sometimes our tendency to do that. So we've used the mantra, may they be happy, may they be healthy, may they be safe, may they be loved. And we've done that for the neutral person for about 5 minutes. And then we move on in our meditation to the fourth phase, which is wishing loving kindness to someone who challenges us. Dare I even say an enemy? So probably I know for me, just the thought of this brings up resistance. And this, of course, is so important. It's kind of like the concept of praying for your enemies. It helps us to humanize them. It helps us to not make concrete black and white judgments about someone. He's this or she's that, and they'll never change. It helps us to, realize that no one exists in a vacuum. It helps us to remember, at least for me, it helps me to remember that hurt people hurt people. So people who have been hurt will usually hurt other people. And that goes for me too. It helps me to remember that challenging behavior usually comes from some place of lack, right? And even those who have challenged us the most, we have the same desire for love and want to be loved. A word of warning for when you choose the person for this fourth step of someone you have challenges with. I would avoid starting with the person who's hurt you the most or someone who's caused you considerable trauma. I would start light, right? So maybe a frenemy, okay? And that's because we don't want to re-traumatize ourselves, and we don't want to sink so deeply into negative feelings that the purpose of the practice is lost. So just be gentle with yourself. Most of us are not at a place where we can wish unconditional love and kindness onto someone who's hurt us quite a lot. So start small. Someone who you do have positive thoughts about but is also challenging, and then much later in our practice can we move on to the really hard ones, right? Lastly, the fifth phase is we then use our mantra to extend love and kindness to all beings everywhere. And this one really just drives home and solidifies what we've been talking about the whole time, which is the sameness, the oneness, the love that we all need and all want. And so may all beings everywhere be happy. May all beings everywhere be healthy. May all beings everywhere be safe. And may all beings everywhere be loved. And I even like to kind of think of myself connected with everyone around the world, no matter where they are, who might be meditating at the same time as me. And even people who aren't meditating, of course. But anyway, so that's how the practice works. I just have a few more important final thoughts to wrap it up for you in this video. So when you set to do it, I highly recommend setting a timer. So you can do like 5 minutes loving kindness to yourself. 5 minutes loving kindness to someone you feel positive about. Then move on, 5 minutes loving kindness to someone you feel neutral about. Then 5 minutes loving kindness towards someone you're challenged by. And lastly, 5 minutes loving kindness for all beings everywhere. Having a timer helps you to move through those intervals and also to set intervals that are realistic to you based on your level of attention and experience with meditation. Notice throughout the practice where the resistance is. That's where the spiritual work lies. This is the most important before we go. In this meditation and in any meditation, we are not trying to create a specific feeling or a specific state of being. There's probably not going to be any euphoria. It's about the intention and the commitment to the practice and the consistency of doing it over time, not about achieving some sort of spiritual state. The intention alone is where the power of this practice lies. And doing it over time, the seeds that you plant through these intentions will blossom into, your life off of the meditation cushion. So just keep that in mind. They don't call it practice for nothing. And lastly, because I really want to do this with some consistency, I'm going to be using a tracker. If I have time, I'll design something really cute and inspirational, and I'll share it with you if I do, by linking it below the video. But if I run out of time, I'm just going to print off any old calendar that I can find on the interwebs and use that. And I think of it more as a consistency tracker and not a challenge. Challenge is kind of an egoic term, and I want this to be strictly, spiritual and for, transformation. And let's see. One last thing, I also have some other recommendations of books and videos that will help you to dive into this subject further if you choose. I really hope that this video and this type of meditation will be of service to you. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Namaste.